Hello, I'm Jake.
And I'm Marlin.
AKA Guy. And this is a video for a series we haven't done in a really long time. Guy's Thoughts. This is for movies I've already done big reviews for, and we're probably here just to get Guy's opinion on. Today, in light of the season, we're going to be talking about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which I reviewed a few years ago with my old friend Matt Nugent. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, go check out that review.
Halloween. The barriers will be down between the real and the unreal.
Before we start, what is your familiarity with the Halloween franchise?
Well, I know Carpenter and Hill did the scripts for, started off with doing that, and he wrote the script, directed and produced, and so on and so forth. And it introduced, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis to launch her career, but it also launched the character of Michael Myers.
The first Halloween I showed you a few years ago, and I believe you really liked it.
Yes, it was. I hadn't ever seen it before, of course, and it was well done. I liked how John Carpenter does a lot with a little. I liked the film.
I don't believe you've seen Halloween 2.
I don't believe I have either. I mean, I'm sure I've seen parts of it on television as I'm going through channels about this time of year, but no, I've never sat down and watched it.
It's pretty much a continuation of the first film, and at the time it came out, it was actually meant to be the end of the franchise. And from that point on, John Carpenter had a pretty interesting idea of where he wanted to take the franchise. He wanted each following film to be its own story with no real connection to the Michael Myers movies. Just turn into an anthology series, kind of like Tales from the Crypt. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch was their first attempt at this, and it didn't really go over so well. The film made its budget back fair enough. It had a budget of $2.5 million. It made a little over $14 million.
My understanding was that the criticism primarily was that there was no Michael Myers.
Yeah, the film did not do well with film critics and especially fans of the franchise because no Michael Myers. It was just this new storyline involving Halloween masks, witchcraft, child murder.
Oh, gnarly!
I just wonder if they did not call it Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch, and had just called it Halloween, the Season of the Witch. So you weren't expecting necessarily.
Maybe. The film opens with a guy on the run being chased by some mysterious men in suits. He almost dies, ends up at a hospital where the men chasing him show up and finish him off. And before he died, his doctor heard him ranting about how they're going to kill us, all the while holding a Halloween mask made by a huge mask company called Silver Shamrock. Very Irish. And with the daughter of the man who was killed, the doctor travels to the town where the masks are made, Santa Mira, named after the town that Invasion of the Body Snatchers was set in. And together they uncover the mystery of the masks, and if you don't want spoilers, then maybe stop here. They discovered that the people who run the company it's never verified exactly if they're witches or warlocks, but the masks have little pieces of one of the stones from Stonehenge, which the owner of the company, Connell Cochran, played by Dan O'Hurley, says carries magic. All the masks with the little stones in them are set to kill all the children wearing them on Halloween night when a special commercial by Silver Shamrock plays.
And that's the story.
Super fine.
May seem a little far-fetched, but I think the way the film plays it out is very well done. It does a good job, I think, of keeping the mystery up. What did you think?
I think this was not written by Carpenter.
It was written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace,
Right.
who had been Carpenter's production and art director on many of his previous films, including Halloween.
You could see the influence. He didn't backstory everything. He didn't explain everything. It was there for you to deal with as he moved through the plot as it was developing. That was very Carpenter-ish, and I liked it, and moved forward through the plot as you described it, and the actors did, I thought, a very good job of bringing this far-fetched kind of thing together.
It is far-fetched.
It is,
but
you can't tell if it's sci-fi or aliens. I don't think it's aliens.
No,
this
no.
guy. I think it's a guy that's got some really technology talent.
They're witches with computers.
Yeah, but they've got some other powers too, because they transported a part of Stonehenge to this place in California so that they could chip pieces off of it and put in their mask.
It's clear they're aware of just how crazy the idea sounds, and they know there'd be no real good way to explain it.
We had a time getting it here. You wouldn't believe how we did it.
Just let it go at that. We don't have to backstory. This is a low-budget film.
If you can get into the Planet of the Apes movies, or say Beetlejuice, I think you can get into the far-fetched and suspension of disbelief story that the film presents.
They pull it off. They really do. Good directing, get you involved. You wonder where it's going, and there is suspense at many different levels throughout this film. As far as the deaths, they're not slasher deaths. There's some gore. But then what happens as the victims, the human victims, are dying, is all this bugs and snakes and stuff all of a sudden just begin within minutes to come out of their bodies. And so that's kind of like where the witchcraft kind of crap comes in. And it's just kind of like, okay.
And I think you can give this. The deaths are very creative.
Yes, they are. There was some decapitation, but I think it was pretty much the robots that got decapitated. Not exclusively, but...
We see that Cochran has like an army at his disposal that turn out to be androids. One of which is played by, and this is his real name, I swear, Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
They did it well. They mixed it up. It kept you going. We have people who are planning to kill a lot of people, mainly children, and so that part's there. And one of the deaths you see is a child being zapped.
His head crushes in, and as you say, bugs and rattlesnakes crawl out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a crazy movie when they actually kill a kid in it.
The only thing you can say is that you don't see the head crushing. You just see the head is in this mask that covers everything, and the mask does all this stuff. But yeah, it's as nice a child killing as you're going to see. Let's put it this way.
And like you said, the actors all do pretty good jobs. The actors bring a lot of personality to them, especially Tom Atkins as Dr. Chalice.
Yes, he carried the movie, and the villain between the two of them, it was a good match. It was a very good match.
Stacey Nelkin as Ellie.
She went from having a dead father to having a sexual love interest with the doctor not so many days later. Other than that, I mean, other than that...
Pretty big jump.
Yeah, pretty big jump, but they pulled it off.
She had a lot of determination, and they were both pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
Until at the end, when we get the kind of weird twist that even fans of the movie are a little confused by.
Kind of like,
Where she's abruptly taken out, and then she reappears, and you can tell there's something a little off, but then we find out that she's become one of the androids.
Or just replaced by an android, I suppose.
A lot of people wonder why she was going along with him before ultimately trying to kill him at the end. Maybe the settings hadn't kicked in quite yet. Cochran did say the androids are loyal, so maybe there's a few bugs there somehow.
Who knows? But she was very interactive before, and then when the android, was rescued, she had no dialogue. It was not at all. But nonetheless, it's very interesting.
Dan O'Harely as Connell Cochran. I think the thing that I really like about him is how expressive he is. When he comes off as happy or charming.
Oh yeah.
There is a little bit of charm there, but also a bit of shadiness that makes you uncertain what to think.
Yeah, a little undertone of at least untrustworthiness, if not evil. So.
And then when he has to be evil,
He is.
Damn, is he chilling.
You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy.
What'd you think when he does the little clap?
Well, he gives tribute to somebody who really messed him up.
And even though they kill him, they still can't stop the mask murder of the kids.
Well, we don't know. We don't know if that last television station took that ad off the air or not.
It is a bit far-fetched that he could get even two of them to stop playing the big ad that was supposed to kill them all with the signal.
Stop it! Stop it!
Originally, the ending was going to end after it cuts to dark with the screams of children all over the country. But somebody, I can't remember exactly who it was, Tommy Lee Wallace, thought that it'd be better to have it be a little ambiguous.
A little ambiguous and not be put out of business by the censors.
I personally think they all died, but it's the fact that they don't confirm it that gives it an extra bit of eeriness.
Yes, yes. But overall, the actors, as directed, put it together, you follow the story, and there are a lot of suspenseful moments. This is not just a slasher film, there's a lot of suspense here, and a little sci-fi and a little witchcraft mixed in. Is a departure from Michael Myers.
Definitely. And it would be about 6 years before we'd get the next Halloween, where they just went back to Michael Myers, retconned his supposed death from the second film, and even though we want to get back to the original, they still called the next one number 4, so it's not like they can't acknowledge number 3 happened.
It must have made sense to somebody at some time, not to me.
What'd you think of the music score for this film?
The music score was very good. I became conscious of it as in the beginning when it was movement on the credits and all that kind of thing. They were simple enough, but they moved to the music.
John Carpenter and his, at the time, frequent collaborator Alan Howarth did the score together. Carpenter, he was still part of the franchise at this point. Him and DEBRA Hill produced it together, while still being overseen by Mustafa Akkad. And Carpenter, I think his score for Halloween 3 is some of his coolest work, just with the techno sound of it all.
That was an aspect of at least the early part of 80s music. It was kind of going that way.
And the whole... That music is referred to, like, that's the movie's theme. It's referred to as the Chariots of Pumpkins.
That's fun.
And just a little fun fact, the wife character, the bitchy wife, is played by Nancy Loomis, who played Annie, Jamie Lee Curtis's bitchy friend in the first Halloween. And she was also at the time married to director Tommy Lee Wallace.
Well, they did give, in the script, they gave her a lot of good reason to just be angry at the doctor, her ex-husband, for the way things had been between them and the way the last few days he's been just, not living up to his part of the deal.
This character does have a few flaws, but not enough to make him go south.
I think it's interesting that there's a lot of wide scope in where they were shooting this sort of thing. And it looks like they used an old town, painted up a few buildings, and shot around it, and were very creative with that. One big thing, I just wonder why it's an Irish theme. Stonehenge is not Ireland.
Maybe they were.
I just don't know.
Maybe
Halloween is not particularly Irish.
Maybe they were just in a green mood at the time.
Maybe, whatever.
And say what you will, the film definitely gets into the Halloween season with everything going on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mask, the kids in the costumes, just everything. And even though it's trying to be separate from the first Halloween, we get two sequences where they're actually watching the first Halloween on TV.
The immortal classic, followed by the big giveaway at 9.
Yes, it's very fun. And I like that too. You use what you got. Wait, what movie can we put on TV? Well, Halloween. Why not? We don't have to play royalties. They're our producers.
Absolutely free. The whole thing's on me.
This film did not do well critically, but it's become a bit of a cult classic over the years, and there's whole panels for the movie almost 40 years later where they get Tom Atkins, now in his 80s, and Stacey Nelkin to reappear. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, and I think part of the bad critical expose when it first came out, I think even the critics were disappointed, this is supposed to be Michael Myers, and it wasn't.
I've heard some people call the film boring, but I don't see that. It keeps you interested, at least from me.
Well, yeah, it's not a fast-moving action movie, but it moves along. It keeps you there. A lot of suspenseful moments.
Good flow.
Yeah, I think people didn't like that Michael Myers was there and made up other reasons that they thought would be more sellable.
If you're looking for a good seasonal Halloween film that just showcases the season, then I think this is an enjoyable film. And did you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoyed looking at it, and just because where the genre started out to go, but this is different. And because I was aware that was going to happen before I watched it, I could sit back and enjoy it.
Welcome to the club. The first film advertised as The Night He Came Home. This one advertised as
Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Which is probably an overstatement. Just the kids aren't coming home.
Well, only the people that don't matter won't be coming home.
Ooh, dark.
Not COVID, just sucked down the wrong pipe.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for joining me and giving your thoughts. Happy Halloween, everybody.